Hello, hello, hello. It is 7:30, Monday, June 3rd. And guess what time it is? It's time for the My Spa Bath and Body Show. Yes, it has been a month since I've been on air, and I have missed you guys. But first, let me get the advertising out of the way. My name is Margaret Harris, the owner and developer of all products on for My Spa Bath and Body Products, which can be purchased at www.myspa.etsy.com. And yes, it has been a whirlwind but wonderful May, and I have really enjoyed myself. I was in Phoenix where I got a chance to, well, I was there for work, but then I had a chance to visit with my cousin Diane and her wonderful husband and son. And we had a great time getting to know the people in Phoenix, which I'm sorry, Phoenix, but I was telling my cousin who's from Chicago, so you know she's sharp. I said, you know what? You can stop fashion for 10 years in Phoenix and everything will still be the same. They're kind of slow. But I had a good time there. Then the next week I was in Orlando having great time with Tammy Daigle and Christopher Daigle celebrating their 25th anniversary, which was just wonderful. And then last week, I was in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, at my Life is a Party cookout. And if you weren't there, you missed those ribs my brother cooked. I know, yeah, pork. But you know what? You put that pork hate on hold for my brother's ribs, because you will slap at least 2 people once you finish eating them. But anyway, I'm back. I have a new state of mind and a new attitude. And the reason I can say that is because of this. And what is this? Mayonnaise. Yes, mayonnaise. Now, why in the world, let me turn that around, would I have a new attitude toward my show and all that I do because of mayonnaise? True story, I was at work today, and I was going into the break room, and there were 2 women in there talking, and one woman, they were black women, had a haircut, and another one was in there complaining about the fact that she had dumped all this coconut oil on her hair because it felt dry and it was breaking off. And so I was like, really? And I realized that a lot of people don't have the information that they need about, even the things that they use when they try to go natural. So another coworker was saying that she should try putting mayonnaise on her hair. And my coworker was like, mayonnaise? I'm not putting any mayonnaise on my hair. And I realized that people have, not only do people actually use real mayonnaise as a pre-poo or pre-shampoo conditioner, but that people even, there's companies even make a mayonnaise for your hair. And I realized that there are just still so many people out there that don't know all of the great things that natural products and things in your kitchen can do. We got on the subject of baking soda and all of that. And I realized that, as my health and my strength build up, that I really need to be out here sharing this information. And of course, selling my products, which are all natural, the My Spa Bath and Body Show. So anyway, that's why I have a new attitude. I'm hyped, I am psyched, and all of that. But this weekend, I didn't do anything. Well, I'm going to back up a little bit. So on my little tease a few minutes ago, I put a couple of things out there. And I'm going to tell you why. Over the weekend, I was watching part 1 of the Muhammad Ali documentary on HBO. And it chronicles the story of Cassius Clay turned Muhammad Ali, and his growth as a person as well as an icon, a brand, and all of that. And his thing was, oh, I'm so pretty, I'm so pretty. He just swore he was pretty. And I thought that was pretty interesting because most men, unless if they might be seen as metrosexual or gay, they usually, especially in that time and age, never said that they were pretty. But he was a handsome guy. He had a baby face, and most of his fights, he didn't come out looking too damaged. So I was like, that's an interesting concept. But then today, when I got home, many of you may or may not know that I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And as that organization has changed and branded and everything, they've really, some people really push this oh so pretty, the pretty girls and the 20 pearls. And so I'm a member of the Ivy Storehouse, and I get a box of different things every month that kind of, have Alpha Kappa Alpha stuff on there. And I know a lot of the other sororities too. The Deltas have a box. I think the Zetas have a box. It's a subscription service. And so this time, they gave us the products, all were branded with this oh so pretty. Oh so pretty. So what we got in our box, and I'm not advertising AK or anything like that. It's to make a point, you know how. So we had this oh so pretty, and this is a toiletry box, okay? And we got a makeup box, something to carry our makeup in, okay? And we got makeup brushes. This is really nice. Makeup brushes, a set of makeup brushes. And we got a shirt. That's it. Oh, so pretty. I'm just fooling around with this. Oh, so pretty since 1908. Okay. And so that's what came in our Ivy box. And it got me to thinking about this pretty, about what makes us all feel pretty, things that make us feel attractive. And one thing, like I said, my goal is to make us feel beautiful inside and out. And many of us, those have our own definition of what makes us pretty. And I think one part, or handsome, or attractive, or makes our outer shell feel or look good in whatever you think is the look good. It's not so much that you have to look like a Muhammad Ali with the smooth skin, but he said that in a lot of ways to help us as, at the time, a race of, African Americans feel like we have a worth, that we don't have to live up to the value of what beauty is supposed to be in society. It's that who you are and what you bring to the table as far as your style, your finesse, is what makes you pretty or attractive or gives you that value in the world. Same with these items that I showed you for women. There's a lot of different things that make a woman feel beautiful. And I think that from time to time, we all need to take a moment and see what that is. And that's not being, conceited or anything. In no way am I advocating that. But what is that thing in you that makes you stand out and makes you feel good when you go out? It might not be anything that, do you have lovely hair or whatever. But think about what those things are. And a lot of times, to have those things around may not even cost a lot of money to do. If making sure that your beard game is tight is what makes you feel good, and you want to make sure you have those products to make your beard game or your bald head or whatever. I mean, men spend hours in the barber shop and used to spend lots of money getting their shoes shined, to make sure that they felt good in society. And women, and I've been struggling with this because of the journey that I've been on. I get a lot of flack because, when I went through my chemo, I did lose my hair. And right now I have hair back, but, I get a lot of flack of, why are you wearing wigs and why are you doing this and why are you doing that? I have hair now, but it's completely different from anything that I'm familiar with. And my comfort level right now is styling wigs. And fortunately and unfortunately, wigs aren't an odd thing to do. But that is what gives me the confidence to go out. And, people always want to say, you are not your hair. Well, each person has a choice on what they do with that. Nails, I make sure that my nails are looking pretty good because I went through a time when they were black underneath. And that was just part of my treatment. So that was something that I did to make myself feel good. And, my mom, she'll tell you that she doesn't have any kind of out or anything. She doesn't care how she looks or whatever. But the one thing that my mother loves is purses. That's the thing. If she's got a nice purse, she's on her game. You know, if my brother, if he has a pair of slacks that are razor sharp, ironed, and he's looking neat, that's what his game is. For me, there's some things that a lot of women like that I'm not a fan of. So, for example, like I said, you have to find your own pretty, your own handsome. So, for example, this lovely makeup case has beautiful utensils, but I don't wear that much makeup. Makeup, the only thing I want to make sure I have is lipstick on. That's all that I want to have on is lipstick. I don't have time or the inclination every day to put on a lot of makeup. So this does not define my pretty. Now, the toiletry bag, I'm going to love this because I have a Bath and Body show. I love lotions, I love oils, I love perfumes and all of that. That's another thing that makes me feel pretty. So this would serve me well. And again, I'm not advertising for this, but I'm just saying that everybody has their own definition of pretty. So make sure that you take some time, you know, as we go into the summer months to figure out what makes you feel good. Not so much that makes you better than anyone, because at the end of the day, if you have a jacked up attitude, no matter how much makeup, wigs, or whatever, if you don't have love for your fellow man, you don't have any compassion, you're rude and nasty, and you on a trigger to get angry with someone at the drop of the hat, you're looking for reasons to be angry, none of this will work because that angry spirit will just overtake you. Even if a man, if you're ready to curse or fight or shoot, we had an incident in Virginia Beach where this guy was just a mild-mannered guy. And if you see the pictures of him, he's not an unattractive guy either. He's a handsome guy. But it seems like he kind of had a hair-trigger attitude, and boom, he goes and shoots up, his coworkers. So, like I said, even though I'm talking about for a minute those things on the outside, make sure that your insides are right because that's the most important thing. So that's A. Like I said, there's so many things to talk about. Quick little tip. Now, it's summertime. Everybody has water in their car. And there's been this thing about don't leave bottled water in your car. Don't leave bottled water in your car because the plastic will leak into the water, which may or may not be true. But the latest news that I read about not leaving water in your car is because the sunlight, when the sunlight comes into your car through the glass and through that bottle and the water, what it does is that heat causes it to ignite. And what happens is your car will catch on fire. Okay? So that's why, premium, you don't want to leave bottles of water on the inside of your car. Did you know that? No. See, that's why you should watch the My Spa Bath and Body Show. Yes. What happens is that water coming through the glass, it will heat up, ignite that plastic, and your car can catch on fire. Wow. Just a little tidbit. Take your water out. Don't let it be in direct sunlight because that it has a chance to catch your car on fire. Another tease that I put on there was something that I read. It's a little tidbit that came back up on my news feed. And the first instance I've seen of this news was today, but it looks like it's been out for a while. And it's the BRCA mutations may play a role in prostate cancer. And most of the time when you hear the BRCA1, BRCA2, and when I first heard of it, it was related to breast cancer and the genetic root of some of the breast cancers. Mine was not genetically based, so that whole myth of thinking that's the only way you can get it is wrong. But however, heredity. But there's an article out there, the one that I'm reading is on WebMD, that says a man's risk of aggressive and lethal prostate cancer may be heavily influenced by gene mutations previously linked to breast and ovarian cancer in women, a trio of studies suggests. And at least one expert says these findings may indicate that men with a history of breast cancer in their family should receive more intense screening for prostate cancer in the future, particularly if those cancers are linked to mutations in the so-called breast cancer genes. One of the studies found that men newly diagnosed with prostate cancer seem 4 times more likely to already have advanced cancer if they carry the BRCA2 gene mutation compared with the general population. They are very much at high risk of cancer, and we should be tailoring their screening to be more aggressive in screening versus less aggressive, says a doctor, I'm not going to butcher his name, a co-researcher on that study and an assistant professor of urology at SUNY Upstate Medical University. Findings from these studies were scheduled to be presented at an annual meeting at the American Urological Association in San Diego. I think this doctor, Dr. Brian Helfield, is being quoted as saying, I think BRCA is a tool we can start using to distinguish who is going to benefit from earlier treatment and more aggressive type treatments for prostate cancer, added Dr. Brian Helflin, a urologic oncologist with North Shore University Health System in Chicago. So breast cancer has been definitely linked with BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutations. Up to 2/3 of women with BRCA1 mutation and as many as 45% of women with BRCA2 will develop breast cancer by age 30. BRCA mutations have been assumed to influence other forms of cancer as well, because these genes normally produce proteins that repair damaged DNA that could otherwise cause cancer. But previous research before had said that this BRCA mutation, and it's BRCA, would be involved in as few as 5% of prostate cancers. But let's see, it looks like that information has changed. But yeah, these 3 new studies say that it's been found in 17% of newly diagnosed cancer patients. Men with BRCA2 mutations also were much more likely to be diagnosed with late-stage prostate cancer, about 40% compared with 11% of the general population. So I said all that to say, let's see, that, you know, this BRCA mutation is not only a risk for women, it's a risk for men as well. Researchers found that black prostate cancer patients were more than 3 times as likely to have a BRCA1 or BRCA2 mutation as white patients, 7% versus 2%. In addition, black prostate cancer patients were more likely to have their cancer spread to another part of their body than whites, and it tended to take less time for their cancer to spread. This BRCA mutation could help explain why black men are 2 or more times more likely to die from prostate cancer than white men, Helfand said. The frequency of BRCA mutations in African American men has been largely unknown. This study shows it's much higher than we thought, and may be a good reason why African American men are more likely to die or have an aggressive disease. So basically, men, if you have a female relative who is has breast cancer and it's the BRCA1 or BRCA2, be aware that that can influence not only if you get prostate cancer and how aggressive it can be. So that's just another piece of news that I came across. And, you know, on my journey, you know, everybody has come up with all kinds of conspiracy theories, and I get it. I think there's conspiracies all around. So, you know, I'm not saying that that's not anything to not be concerned about. But, you know, we have to make sure that we are wise. Now, one thing also that I saw, it was that, you know, the product that's in nonstick pans, it seems to be promulgating all over the place. Not only now is it in on our pans, but it's in the environment. So I couldn't find that article right now, but DuPont are the main people that make it. And, I stopped using sometimes I'll fry my eggs in it. But, that stuff flakes up. And so I'm looking at an article right now, updated January 15th. And it says that, of course, cooks everywhere have come to rely on nonstick pans as a great way to cook and bake food without food being left or a sticky cleanup. But pans produced prior to 2015 may have something called PFOA, which was used to bond the nonstick coating to the pan. The health concerns about PFOA led the major producers of nonstick chemicals to work with the Environmental Protection Agency to eliminate it from their products. This program was a success, and the production and use of PFOA ended in 2015, which means that if you have an old pan, which I do, which I'm going to throw away when I get home, prior to 2015, you should dispose of it because it's probably using this PFOA. Of course, DuPont and the EPA say cooks have little to worry about if they use their cookware properly. There's little dispute that above certain temperatures, hotter than the smoking point of cooking oils or the point where food is burned, the non-sticking coating will break down and release toxic fumes. Any surface that's subject to extreme temperature will give off toxic acids. And so DuPont is saying, nothing to see here, nothing to do here. But DuPont, Monsanto, Bayer, they're betting on your health. They're hoping that if you should catch something or come down with some disease, that the likelihood of you being able to trace your specific problem to their specific product is very unlikely. And then with all the money that they make off of it, whatever they pay, if they pay you $45 million, even though that's heavy fat pocket for you, it's nothing to DuPont, who's made billions and billions of dollars off of these pans. But here's what they're saying. There seems little reason to toss out your nonstick pots and pans as long as they are in good condition. Under normal use, the pans are almost certainly safe. But if you buy new nonstick cookware, you can be assured that it has no PFOA, which my Teflon has been with me 10 or 12 years. So that's going in the trash. So here are your tips. Never leave nonstick pans unattended on an open flame or other heat sources. While cooking, don't let temperatures get hotter than 450 degrees. Don't use metal utensils on nonstick cookware. Wash nonstick cookware by hand using non-abrasive cleaners and sponges. Don't stack nonstick cookware on top of each other, which we all have a tendency to just stick it in there. Now this is stupid. Keep pet birds out of the kitchen, as they are particularly sensitive to the chemicals released by nonstick cookware. Okay, so if you're not cooking the bird, keep it out of the kitchen, I guess is the answer. Keep the birds out unless you're frying it, okay? So that's your tip of the day. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to go over. I had a few other things, but there's just so much information that I want to share. Some quick tips about our bodies. You remember Reader's Digest? Remember your parents used to get that? Well, you can get it online, and it still has the best information that you could possibly get. And so I've got, how much time I got, Ron? 4 minutes? Yeah. I got 4 minutes. So I'm going to give you some quick tips out of the June Reader's Digest. And I know I'm all over the place. This is a grab bag of stuff. And, sometimes that's the best way to get information. You don't need a whole paragraph of anything to say. You just need to know what you need to know. So here's some 50 things about your amazing body. Okay. your knees crack after sitting for a long time. If you find yes happening, your knees crack, Ron? The sounds you hear are probably caused by gas being released from the spaces between your joints, just like when you crack your knuckles. Meanwhile, muscles or tendons rubbing against your bones may also make your joints creaky. We say motion is lotion. Hey, I know that you like that, Ron. Motion is lotion. Says Kim L. Stearns, MD, an orthopedic surgeon at Lutheran Hospital in Ohio, told the Cleveland Clinic, when you've been sitting around, fluid in your joints doesn't move. The more active you are, the more your joints lubricate themselves and the less noise they will make. The popping shouldn't alarm you unless it's accompanied by pain or swelling. Okay, why does your stomach growl when it gets hungry? Your stomach growls when the receptors in your stomach walls sense an absence of food. They send out electrical waves. These cause the muscular walls in your stomach to squeeze and release, making a rumbling sound. You may also hear some sloshing as the contractions move water and stomach acid around. Okay, ever wonder why you get goosebumps? When you feel a chill or something scary, your body releases a surge of adrenaline. The point is to make your body hair stand up, which helped out our animal ancestors stay warm and also make them look larger in the face of predators. So if you have a lot of hairy arms, I guess you look super large. Getting those individual hairs to stand at attention requires the teeny skin muscles at the base of each follicle to contract, making your skin look vaguely like the goose's post-plucking, hence goosebumps. Okay, oh, here's a good one. You have an almost entirely new skeleton every 10 years. Old bone cells are constantly being replaced by new ones, a process called remodeling. This helps repair damage to the skeleton and prevents the accumulation of too much old bone, which can become brittle and break more easily, which is very interesting. So on my journey, you know, I do have to take one pill for the next 5 years to help me to get through my breast cancer journey. But you know what I've been subscribed the most of in this whole journey is supplements and vitamins. And that kind of makes me feel good because my doctors aren't trying to pump me full of drugs. So for example, some of the infusions, whatever, are giving me neuropathy, which is, I'm not having numbing in my feet, but more the tingling. So my doctor told me to take B12, okay? Not any type of medicine. To get my hair to grow back, take biotin, okay? For this pill that I'm going to be taking for 5 years, it lessens your bones. She told me to take vitamin D and calcium. So, you know, vitamins, especially if you've been through any kind of stress, any kind of change in life, you know, talk to your doctor, you know, do your research. Don't overtake these things because some of them can be toxic. But look at supplements, especially if you don't eat right, your body's been under stress or strain or different changes, and see what type of supplements you can take to help your body. All natural now. You can get them in organics, you can get them from different brands that don't use a lot of fillers, but always try those natural supplements before you try anything else. Okay? So I know this was a grab bag. I had a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I'm glad to be back, and we can all thank mayonnaise for giving me a new lease on my show. Anyway, check out my products at www.myspa.etsy.com, and I will see you next week because I am not leaving the DMV anytime soon. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.